Yo, what's going on? Next up we have 5 reactions of innocent convicts set free. This is a scary situation to be in. Extremely unfortunate as well. I don't know. I don't know how you could end up in situations like this, or how, like, you know what I'm saying, how karma works like this. But this is insane to me that stuff like this is possible. But we gonna see how they got, well, I don't know if they're gonna explain how they got into these situations, but we're gonna see how they reacted to it.
It started in 2004 when the Honduran immigrant was accused of killing 2 women. A man who was sentenced to die literally was on death row.
So it's the case of this guy named Clemente Aguirre. And if I tell you this story, you'll say you got to be making the up. It can't be true.
What the
14
hell?
years, 4 months, and 19 days. I've been incarcerated.
What?
10 years, 3 months of then in death row.
On June 25th, 2004, in Altamonte, Florida, 24 year
Yeah. He said 14 years?
14 years,
Oh my
4 months,
fucking
and 19
goodness,
days.
bro.
I've been incarcerated. 10 years, 3 months of then in death row.
On June 25th, 2004, in Altamonte, Florida, 24-year-old Clemente was indicted on charges of first-degree murder and burglary, a crime that he did not commit.
From the start, Aguirre Jking said he found the women dead, that he tried to help, and that's how their blood got on his clothes and his footprints.
It was a gruesome crime that found his neighbors, 68-year-old Carol Barris and 47-year-old Cheryl Williams, stabbed to death.
Trying to help. It's like, bro.
However,
trying to
despite
help.
Clemente protesting his innocence,
14 years of
police
his life is
decided
gone.
he was the only possible suspect and he was sentenced to death. In the 14 years on death row, Clemente never stopped trying to clear his name, and he wasn't wrong either. As it turns out, Samantha, Cheryl's daughter, prior to the murder, was diagnosed with intermittent explosive disorder.
Within inches of the mother's body
What is that?
and in a bathroom where the state argued the killer cleaned up is the daughter's blood, a trail of the daughter's blood going to the bathroom, and then the mother's blood on the outside of the daughter's window. And there's in the doctor's notes, a few years before this happened, where she says to her mother, "I'm gonna kill you if I ever get out of here. I'll kill all of you." Then we find out that she has confessed all over town. We had people coming in all over the place, testifying,
Wow.
affidavits that she said, "I killed my mother and my grandmother, I'll do it to you."
With such irrefutable evidence implicating Cheryl's daughter, the day finally arrived for Clemente.
I do know that nobody believed me back then. No way. Besides my mother, nobody believed me. And I thank you for it. From the bottom of my heart.
He holds back tears and immediately heads towards friends and family to celebrate.
But today is a brighter day, a new day, and I got good hopes for the future.
This is
Okay, but,
Devontae
like,
Sanford,
what did
who
he-
in 2007
What does he get for this, though? Because I remember in the that other Netflix adaptation, they did the Central Park 5. Is that what it was called? The When They See Us one. They got paid for their time, even though, nigga, ain't no amount of money going by that time back. You got me fucked up, dog. Somebody
This is
got to pay for
Devontae
that
Sanford,
shit. I don't
who
know
in
what the fuck you
2007
talking about.
was sentenced to 37 to
And
90
I ain't
years
talking
in
about
prison.
money, buddy.
A horrific quadruple murder that he did not commit. He was only 14 years old at the time. Devontae was walking outside his home in his pajamas when he was arrested just 3 blocks away from a vicious crime scene involving 4 people and an AK-47 assault rifle. Devontae was taken to the local police station,
Y'all
where it turns
arrested a
out that the police
14-year-old?
coerced him into a false confession
Oh
with the
my
use of leading
fucking
questions
goodness,
and
bro.
feeding him facts from the case. To make matters worse, his lawyer at the time didn't help by convincing him to enter a guilty plea. His current lawyer had this to say.
In the course of their targeting him, they literally fabricated evidence and committed perjury in order to ensure that this young man, that they could get a conviction.
But just
Bro,
3
what
weeks
type of
later,
shit is
there
this?
was another twist in this tale. And that twist came in the form of hitman Vincent Smothers.
Like, why?
Smothers
Like,
was
what
arrested
is the
for
point in
12
trying
murders, 4 of which turned out to be the case that
I don't get
Sanford
it,
was
bro.
convicted for. The lack of action from the justice courts got the attention of the Northwestern Center of Wrongfully Convicted Youths, who pushed to reopen the case, which led to Devontae's freedom in 2016.
It was a homecoming 9 years in the making.
9 fucking years.
Interestingly enough, Devontae is thankful to one particular person for his freedom. Smothers.
He protected me, not the cops. The cops took advantage of me. It's because of this man. You know, I'm able to walk and breathe and just, you know, be at peace.
As it turns out, all that time spent wrongfully incarcerated may have taken its toll on Sanford, who found it hard acclimatizing back into regular society.
Yeah, I
New and
bet.
serious trouble for Devontae Sanford. The 25-year-old was convicted of murder here in Detroit, then exonerated and released from prison.
He was arrested for assault in 2018, and this time, there was no hitman to take the heat. In 1991,
Sure.
Queens, New York, 19-year-old Gregory Counts and
What the
21-year-old
fuck?
Van Dyke Perry were sentenced to life in prison for a crime they did not commit. The
Both of
victim was
them?
held at knife point out front of her Queens home, thrown into a car, and driven to Central Park, where she was then raped multiple times. She claimed that the men responsible were Counts, Perry, and a third unknown man. In 2017, after having already served 11 years, the Innocence Project reinvestigated the Counts and Perry case using DNA that was retested. DNA cleared both Counts and Perry from the semen found on the victim. It led to a man who was deceased. Weird, right? So why would the victim make up such a heinous story and send 2 innocent men to jail?
What?
The answer will get your blood boiling.
The complainant now admits that her boyfriend forced her to...
Yo, do I want to hear this shit? Like, dead ass, bro. What the fuck is this, bro? This
Sir,
is literally
will get your
mad,
blood boiling.
mad
The
annoying.
complainant now admits that her boyfriend forced her to lie and falsely claim these men sexually assaulted her. Her boyfriend was trying to avoid having to pay a debt to these 2 men.
All that for a boyfriend avoiding debt, the things we do for money. Let's have a look as both Counts and Perry sit in court, hearing the sweet sound of freedom echoing throughout. They do their best to hold back their
How did they
emotions.
even, like, decide the
Although
time
they are
frame?
free
Like,
and
11 years
reintegrating
later,
back
they
into
decided to
society now,
retest
it's clear
the
that this
DNA.
horrible, unjust story will haunt both these men for the rest of their lives.
It's never going to be over. The reason why, because it tormented my life and it's my past.
1993, New Jersey. 22-year-old Tito Marino was murdered in his video store, another gruesome death by stabbing. Eric Kelly and Ralph Lee were both convicted of a crime they had no connection to. The whole story was put together by police using coercion and a
Wait, he
sketchy
was released in
eyewitness.
2018?
They then used those statements against Lee, and that's how they nailed their conviction. It wasn't until once again the Innocence Project got involved in their case that Eric and Ralph felt a bit of hope.
And the state has just dug in their heels ever since. They refused to investigate this other person, refused to talk to him, didn't look into his history, and instead are just, blindly clinging to this conviction at all costs.
It's been
He
the
was released
same
after 11
people
years. However, it
who are
wasn't
getting
until
all these
2018,
innocent people free.
After having spent 24 years in prison, that
Yo.
Kelly was finally given back his freedom. After new DNA
24
evidence was
fucking
presented to
years
the
is
judge in
insane,
court.
bro.
Therefore, in light of the foregoing reasons, the motion is filed in both defendants found 3 of Kelly.
Interestingly enough, we find Judge Joseph Portelli in full Karen mode.
Listen to me. It's not a moment of choice. It's a moment of justice, okay? It's not something to celebrate or not celebrate.
We're not sure about you, But freedom after 24 years of wrongful incarceration.
It's not
seems
something
like
to
a pretty good
celebrate.
reason
You're not supposed to celebrate after being wrongly accused for 24 years.
He didn't let this dampen their moods. Both were hungry, high in spirits, and thankful for everyone that had played a part in their release.
Mainly, I want to eat. I'm a little hungry. Be with my legal team. I want to thank them. I want to thank my family. First and foremost, it's been a long time. I just don't know. I'm just out of words, baby. I'm just feeling good right now. That's all.
What would you want someone who didn't know anything about your case to know?
I'm an innocent man. I'm an innocent man.
All's well that ends well. For now.
Right, in the case of People versus Juan Ignacio Catalan, is that your true name?
Years.
This is Juan Catalan, the man saved by sitcom. An alibi caught on camera, but not in the way you think. On May 13th, 2003, 16-year-old Martha Puebla, a witness in a case of a gang slaying, was shot and killed in front of her home in Sun Valley, California.
Damn.
It wasn't until 3 months later that the FBI arrested 24-year-old Juan Catalan during a raid in front of his family's machine shop. Juan was interrogated for hours. It seemed like they already had a huge amount of evidence against him. A witness sketch that looks like you. A witness that was supposed to take the stand against your brother gets murdered in cold blood. It doesn't look good. But Juan consistently pleads his innocence, telling officers that they're trying to pin this crime on the wrong person.
You guys are gonna take away my life for this bullshit. You killed somebody. Wait a minute. Those are very strong words right there. I did not kill nobody. I would never kill nobody. I would never do anything to hurt anybody. Convince us otherwise.
As things get sticky, Juan remembered that he was at a Dodgers game with his daughter on that day. But a stadium full of tens of thousands of people, what are the chances that someone captured him there? And even more so, the chances that you'd be able to retrieve said footage. Well, this is where this case becomes wild. Juan remembered he was on TV, but not the Dodgers cam. It just so happened that Larry David, the creator of Seinfeld and star of the HBO show Curb Your Enthusiasm, was shooting an episode in the exact same aisle as Catalan and his daughter.
The episode was that
Can this even be seen as like luck? Like,
what are the chances? Juan's lawyer contacted HBO, got access to the footage of that episode,
This is literally
and
some
ran the
bullshit.
tapes. Hours of research brought no results, and he was running out of tape and felt like he wasn't going to get what he needed. And then, there it was, the once-in-a-lifetime chance of an alibi caught on tape.
And I pointed at the screen and I said, that's him, roll that back.
This footage, combined with a phone call made to his girlfriend at the exact time he was leaving the stadium, led to his case being thrown out. Both detectives were found guilty of coercion and falsifying their reports. As for Juan, what can you say? Talk about being in the right place at the right time.
From getting the tickets on the day of to being caught on camera, but what are the chances that out of 58,000 seats, they're filming on my aisle? I look at it like I did win the lottery because I got a new opportunity at life, with my family. I was so happy and grateful for that.
It's like, yeah, that part is lucky, but the fact he literally should have never been put in that situation to begin with. But how many of these
been released after 11 years? However, it wasn't until 2018, after having spent 24 years in prison, that Kelly was finally given back his freedom, after new DNA evidence was presented to the judge. After having already served 11 years, the Innocence Project reinvestigated the Counson Perry case using DNA that was retested. DNA cleared both.
That's actually fucking insane. Okay, so for the other case, with the other dude that was coerced, were those officers or whatever the fuck, detectives, whatever the fuck you want to call them, did they receive punishment for that? And that judge can suck my dick from the back. Like, that nigga's actually a piece of shit, bro. To have the audacity to say, nah, this ain't a time to celebrate after 24 years of this nigga's life has just been taken away is fucking insane, bro. That is crazy, bro. That is actually crazy. I've never heard of that Innocence Project shit, though. But if it's them, then I guess that answers that other question as to why it takes so long. It's because they don't reopen the cases. These niggas that have to go in and do their own research and open back up other cases that they believe haven't been rightfully, you know what I'm saying, prosecuted, whatever the word is. This is fucked though. The original video and all that stuff is going to be in the description if y'all want to check out more videos like this, but I think I'm good on that. I think I'm good on this. This was enough for me to see. Yikes.